You know what's great? Going to a game. You know what's not great? Parking at a game. With Uber, you can turn event parking into a non-event. Just install the Uber app. Enter your destination, confirm your location, and within minutes, a car will pick you up. I know, right? With upfront fares, you can know the price before you go. And you pay with the Uber app so you can save your cash for the souvenir shop. So make tonight a fun night. Install the Uber app now and take your first ride today. Uber, the better way to get there.
Hi, welcome to the Living in Partnership with Spirit show. I'm Ingrid Turner, your host. I'm so happy to be here with you today. So during these shows, I share with you the spiritual energies for the week coming up, and then I get into discussing, dissecting, and elaborating on divine messages that I receive from Spirit. Once a month, I have special shows featuring panels with expert guests on more in-depth topics. So January special is scheduled for next week, the 31st of January on Tuesday, and the topic is the role of spirit in addiction. If you have struggled with addiction or you have loved ones who struggled, don't miss this show. We'll talk about our own journey with addiction, where it has led us, and how it lends itself to our spiritual work today. So one thing I always want to make really clear right away is there's no special reason that I receive the messages I share with you from Spirit, except that I'm open to it and I am fiercely committed to living an enlightenment lifestyle, so staying open to it. This doesn't make me better or worse than anyone else, I'm just open. I will tell you that I am profoundly grateful to find myself in the position where I get to receive with such clarity and then share my experience of these messages with you. So thank you so much for being present with me, for allowing me to share this wisdom with you. You've got one job during this show, actually anytime, one job. Take what you hear, hold on to what resonates deeply with you, and let the rest go. I don't prescribe a dogma for you. I just share what I get in the clearest way that I can. If that resonates with you, it's supposed to. And if it doesn't, that's okay. It's for somebody else. If you would like to work with me one-on-one, you can book time with me on my website at www.ingridhturner.com. That's INGRIDHTURNER.com. I offer a whole bunch of different ways to access Spirit individually because I want to fit into as many needs and budgets as I can. So check it out. My services start at $25. That's IngridHturner.com. You can also connect with me through my Facebook group. It's called Living in Partnership with Spirit, so it's the same name as the show. Just plug that into Facebook search and it'll pop right up. I want to start my shows with my definition of living in partnership with Spirit. So for me, living in partnership with Spirit means to commune with the divine, live from a place of feeling and intuition, and living with less anxiety and more certainty in our lives. Ultimately, I sum up living in partnership with Spirit as living your highest purpose in this body on this planet, on this plane of existence. So what this show does is explore different themes, topics, and paths to living in partnership with Spirit. We'll delve into the many ways by which human beings communicate, experience, and work with Spirit in our daily lives. Okay, so let's start with the spiritual energies forecast for the week. This is going to be a really interesting week. I'm looking at today, Tuesday the 24th through Monday, January 30th. And it's filled with some really kind of intense stops and starts, especially as we go into the weekend. But starting with just today, I'll take us through day by day. So it's a contrast day today. Expect to be tossed out of your comfort zone. This is not a bad thing. This is a very, very good thing. Contrast shows us what we want and what we don't want. It helps us make our vision very, very, very clear. If we don't get stuck in the loop, the negativity loop that where contrast can so easily take us. So you're going to be bumped out of your comfort zone, whether you like it or not. People are going to rub you the wrong way today. That's okay. Don't take it personally. It's just the energy's acting up again. Nothing to worry about. Ride it through. And just when you run into contrast, whether it's people or situations or even your own thoughts, whatever it is, just realize, okay, this is helping show me where I really want to go, what direction I really want to go. So if you can stay in that space today with today's energies, tomorrow, Wednesday, January 25th, you're going to be experiencing a really good new start, a new direction. And I feel like, again, I felt like this before. I feel like this keeps coming up. It's like it's new, but you've kind of thought about it before, okay? And today's energies are helping to hone that, to really help you, point you in the direction you want to go, point you down the path that is really going to give you everything that you've ever wanted out of life. Okay, so Thursday, January 26th, I love this energy because I expect a lot of love feeling. So if today people are going to bug you just because of the energies. On Thursdays, you're going to be kind of in love with everybody. So it's one of those days where the energies are really lend itself to seeing God in everybody, to really looking into someone's eyes and seeing the divine and connecting with that place. We're all human and irritating, and we're all divine and fascinating. So today's irritating, Thursday is fascinating. Enjoy the heck out of it. And remember, you are a teacher. Everyone who you come into contact with, you're also a student, but everyone who you come into contact with, remember that what you share with them helps them in some way on their journey. And this is especially true on Thursday, the 26th. The energies are going to be ripe for that. Okay, so going into the weekend, here's where you get to prepare for some intensity. I'm seeing very sudden shifts. It's going to start internally, where you kind of have this wake-up call, like, whoa, something. It's like you suddenly see something that's sitting in front of you, but you see it for the first time. Like it's been in the dark, and you shine a flashlight on it, and you can see what it really is. And whoa! Expect some jarring energy, followed by into the weekend on Saturday the 28th. Big changes in your outer environment. So change is scary. I get that. Inner change is scary. Outer change is scary. Human beings, change is the one thing that is constant. It's the one thing that really helps us in every possible way on our spiritual path, on our journey. And yet it's what we're all so terrified of. It's like we're hardwired to resist change, and yet it's the best possible thing for us. Well, I'm here to tell you, whatever's happening in your outer world on Friday and Saturday, your inner world on Friday, your outer world on Saturday, try your best to roll with it and recognize that this too shall pass. And I have really good news. It's going to pass really quickly. This major disruption in your life is going to turn around and bloom. It's going to make things bloom for you. And it's going to show up very quickly. A lot of times we go through these, transformations and changes, and it takes a while to see why that was a good thing. Sometimes it can take years to be like, wow, I'm really glad that awful experience, I went through that awful experience because it's led to me where I am now. Well, you're going to have that feeling, but it's going to happen, but it's going to turn on really quickly. Sunday and then Monday going into next week, things are going to you're going to have a whole new outlook on life. You're really going to get it. I feel like you're really going to get something that has been eluding you, some piece of information, some understanding that has been hiding in the shadows and skittering about, and you haven't got a good look at it now. This is when you get a good look at it, and everything changes for the better. On Sunday and going into next week, it's going to be a beautiful period for you emotionally and physically. You're going to be in a really good space, and you're really going to get it. I feel like this week is all about getting something that is going to help you move forward on your path, on your life path. Okay. So if you have any questions about the spiritual energies forecast, feel free to visit my website, and you can contact me on a contact form. It's ingridhturner.com. Just go to the contact page and you can ask me any questions. I'm not taking psychic reading questions today because we have a very special topic with a very special guest. Today's topic is the importance of your physical body on your spiritual journey. And I am so pleased to invite Shizumi Crimi onto the show with us today. So Shizumi co-owns the Hikari Ryuza Center. It's a health and wellness center in Northern California. She's a certified integrated health coach. She's a martial arts teacher. She's a 7th degree black belt in Hikari Ryuza Bujutsu. She's a dance teacher and a Seifu Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. I know. She is impressive as hell. And there's more too, which I'm going to let her share with you. So today she's going to talk to us about our body, that's nutrition, exercise, wellness, and the importance of keeping all this in order as we travel along with spirit. During today's discussion with Shizumi, you can absolutely call in with your questions for Shizumi about today's topic. The number is 657-383-1895, and then you'll press 1 to get on the show. Okay, without further ado, Shizumi, welcome.
Hi, Ingrid.
Hi, love. How are you today?
I am fabulous. How are you doing?
Also fabulous.
Of course.
No better word. So, hey, I gave you a little intro, but give us a little more background. Fill in the blanks. What did I miss? Tell us a little bit more about you and your background.
I feel like you said it all right there. Well,
good.
I do have a specialization in nutrition, in integrative nutrition, and working alongside with my husband, we work in a lot of alternative therapies, so things that when you go to the doctors and oftentimes don't find the answers that you're looking for, a lot of times we are able to help a person find those answers.
And what does your specialization is in nutrition, integrative health nutrition. What is your husband, Dr. Crimi's specialization in?
He's a doctor of Oriental medicine, and we specialize in a Japanese healing system called Seiko Fujitsu. And that is mainly work from the outside in, doing body work.
Right. Okay. And that's just to give people a better idea of what that is. That's an Oriental healing practice, like a massage practice.
Yes, very deep tissue, though, working with the meridians to help balance the body and also break down the tissues and build them up stronger.
Gotcha. Okay, great. So then before we get started, can you tell us how we can contact you if anybody wants to ping you later?
Yes. Well, they can go to our website, and that's ryuzado.com. It's spelled R-Y-U Z like zebra, A-D like dog, O.com. And that has our contact information on there. That's probably the easiest thing to do. My email is really long.
Cool. Okay, well, let them go to the website and take it from there. Mm-hmm. All righty. So the reason I wanted, here's why I was really excited to have you on today, Shizumi, is I'm thinking back to a conversation we had, I don't know, maybe months ago. And it's a conversation that I reference all the time when I'm talking to people, when I'm working with people, sort of on an ongoing basis. We were talking about how people who are really kind of way out there in spirit or out there in the ethereal, how there tends to be a sacrifice to their physical body, right? They tend to be out of their ideal health. And I was talking to you about this, and so we got into a conversation about why it's super important to pay attention to the physical body as well as the ethereal. And it was that conversation that kind of made me realize, oh yeah, that is important, because I'm one of those people that I have to work on my grounding. I have to work on staying connected in the physical. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to we had that conversation, but I wanted you to, in your own words, tell us, like in a nutshell, why is it super important to pay attention to the physical as well as the ethereal as we walk along the spiritual path?
Well, I guess since you brought up grounding, that would be the first thing to address. Would much like electricity, if it's not grounded, then you're not going to be able to flow the current through it. So if your body, acting as that vehicle, is not grounded, then there's no way to flow the universal energy through you. So that would be one of the first things, and that's grounding is not something that you can just automatically do. It's something that you need to practice on a daily basis. But in my opinion, as probably most people can agree, that life is a journey, and the journey is going to be experienced as incredible if the vehicle that we are traveling in is in really good shape. If the vehicle that we're traveling in is run down and it's not getting the right kind of fuel, or it's got a lot of internal problems going on, then that quality of life is going to go right down the drain. So if we take really good care of the vehicle, then it's going to take really good care of us on our journey to whatever destinations we have, whether they be in spirit or in the physical or intellectual realms, whatever those goals are.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, it's like if you think about taking a road trip across the country, do you want to drive the beater car or do you want to drive, the Mercedes?
Exactly. You want something that's dependable, and you want something that is comfortable and is going to be there over the long haul. And if you may not even notice it, like if you're putting some really cheap fuel into your vehicle, then you may not notice that right away. But then, after years of these behaviors, then it's going to start to break down. The dysfunction is going to start to happen. But if you always put quality things into the tank, into the vehicle, then you're going to get quality back out of it.
Right. And I think it's pretty safe to say that for most of us, getting our vehicle, our body, our physical manifestation of spirit back in working order, either back in working order or continuing to keep it in working order, it's not as difficult as we tend to think it is. I think that for a lot of people, improving their diet or, learning about nutrition or exercise movement can feel really overwhelming. But I feel like it's a lot easier than people think it is. We're bombarded with information from the media and all kinds of different sources with all kinds of different information about what is good for us and what we ought to be doing and what have you. And what I love about your specialty, integrative health, and correct me if I mess this up, but I believe that you told me one time you studied over 100 dietary theories, right? So you
Correct.
really look into what is right for that person's body as opposed to giving them a canned, this is what you need to do to be healthy. So can you tell us how people can start to explore their particular body, listen to their body, and start to explore ways to easily improve their diet, improve their nutrition, the fuel they put into their body?
Yes, absolutely. So what you touched on, what is the cure-all for one person could be another person's poison. So there's no way to say that there's going to be a one-size-fits-all approach to nutrition and exercise or just lifestyle habits in general. But there are a few things that a person can do that would benefit anyone. Anybody doing this type of thing would be beneficial. Eating more vegetables. I would say that's one of the number one things, to eat more vegetables. If you can eat organic vegetables, all the better. And I know there's a lot of controversy around that even, that, that's just a bunch of hooey that organic vegetables are better for you than the ones that are not. But if you have studied how plants grow, plants that have been sprayed with pesticides are not as strong as plants that have had to learn how to defend themselves on their own from insects and other things in the environment. So if they have to develop that strength in their own in the plant, then it's going to have a stronger content of nutrients in it. And so when you eat those plants, then you are getting a stronger content of nutrients yourself. So that would be one of the number one things, would be to eat more vegetables. And a really easy way to do that, instead of measuring things or getting into percentages, is just to take half of your plate and make it vegetables.
Boom. That is easy.
It's really easy. Just take half
the plate. And it really
plate.
doesn't matter, right? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, it doesn't, at this point, we're just talking about really easy tips. Eat more vegetables. It doesn't matter what vegetables you eat right now. Just eat more vegetables. Eat what you like.
Exactly. The ideal is to eat a rainbow diet, so to get a full spectrum of all the different colors, because each different color group has some specific types of antioxidants and nutrients in them. So if you're eating that full spectrum, then you're going to be getting all of them, instead of just if you only eat red ones or if you only eat green vegetables, then you're going to be deficient in a different area. And then as far as the other half of your plate, just making sure that they're, quality sources of proteins and quality sources of carbohydrates. And quality fats, too. A lot of people think that fats are bad for you, but they're an absolute necessity, but they should be consumed, the right kinds should be consumed.
And what are some of the right kinds of fat?
Well, avocados have a good content of fat in them, but it's a fat that our body can use and our body needs, so that's a good one. There's certain types of oils that are really great. Let's see. Ones that I would recommend would be olive oil, grapeseed oil, coconut oil, sesame oils. Some are not good for cooking and some are great for cooking with. Olive oil would not be a good one to cook with because it doesn't withstand high heat. So when you cook with it on higher heats, then it's going to oxidize and become more like a free radical in the body. So ones that are really good to cook with. Terms. What's that?
Real quick, just back up. Explain those terms, oxidized and free radical.
Well, that's what a free radical is oxidized. So a free radical is an unstable molecule in the body that is going to create havoc to cells by stealing electrons from them and making them an unstable molecule themselves. So the more free radical damage that happens in the body, the more that those cells are damaged, creating degeneration.
Right, the early aging and what have you. Okay. So I had a question come in on my chat here. It says, so veggies are now the main protein on a plate. So should meat be a smaller portion?
Portion sizing. Okay, so for protein, you would want to, if you're looking at your hand, then you'd want to use a palm size as a serving. Okay. And that's a really good, it's really easy to use your hand because you always have your hands with you.
Right.
You don't have to
Most of us.
pull out a measuring cup or anything. So, yeah, just a palm size is a serving. And typically, depending on the energy consumption that your body needs or your size, then 1 to 2 servings is perfect. Most people can just use 1 serving. For fats, you could just use your thumb for the amount of servings. So for your healthy fats, just look at your thumb. That would be a serving.
Oh, that's a lot less than I thought it was. Okay, for fats. Well, I was going to say one of my favorite snacks is to take an avocado, cut it in half, get rid of the pit, and then put salt and pepper on it and just eat the avocado out of the skin.
Yeah.
Is that too much fat?
No. No, because
because I really like those. I'm like, don't tell me not to eat that.
No, because there's so many other things in the avocado that are good for you too.
Gotcha. Okay, it's not just fat. So what about, do you have any other, before I move on, any other tips you can give us about just super easy ways to start improving our fuel intake?
Yes. So it's not, not just what you eat, but also what you drink. So you want to make sure that you drink lots of water. And I would highly recommend that people don't drink soda at all. Sugar, especially if they're trying to lose weight, sugar is the biggest culprit. Sugar is going to turn into fat. So that's a really good one to start with to work on eliminating sugar from your diet. So good things to drink: teas, water, number one.
Right.
Use good. Just use some good judgment.
Right. When in doubt, drink water. That's what I say.
When in doubt, drink
Although,
water.
as you know, I'm kind of a tea nut. I have a kind of a problem with tea. I drink lots and lots of tea, but I drink a lot of caffeinated tea. So I wonder if you could talk a little bit about caffeinated drinks.
Well, I think everything in moderation. I don't think that anybody should force themselves to be totally pristine in their diet and then drive themselves crazy mentally, because that's going to be more stressful and cause more damage than going out and having whatever, like the 10 cups of tea, caffeinated tea or whatever. But
right.
If you are having like 10 cups of tea a day, that's pretty excessive. So something that you could do in between is you could just, if you wanted to have a cup of tea, drink a cup of water first, and then see if you still really want to have that cup of tea. Because a lot of times when our body starts craving things, it actually needs more water.
Wow. So really when it starts craving anything, it needs more water. So that could that not only be tea, but that could be like sugar, coffee, food. Like if you find yourself taking in a lot more into your body than is really necessary, drink a cup of water, and that may take care of it, huh? That craving.
Exactly. I mean, it could be a nutrient deficiency, and that's why your body's constantly signaling for those cravings because it's not getting what it needs. But when a person starts to improve their diet overall, then those cravings will start to change, and not right in the beginning either. That's usually the hardest part, is like if a person is trying to detox out of sugar, when they first start to eliminate sugar, those cravings are going to be even stronger. So they have to go through a difficult path.
Like a withdrawal process.
But once they get through that, then those cravings will completely subside.
So sugar is a really, really big one. Most of us are highly addicted to sugar and find it in all kinds of strange places that you wouldn't expect sugar to be in. So if somebody, and I think sugar is a big one that a lot of people want to detox from and get rid of, but just have the hardest time with it because it's just everywhere. So could you tell us a little bit about removing sugar from your diet and sort of the process that your body goes through? Because it is really hard to withstand those chocolate cravings at certain times of the day. I mean, for a lot of people, not me, but for a lot of people.
Do you want the really simple answer that nobody wants to hear?
Yes.
Don't eat packaged foods. Then you can, remove sugar. If you're eating packaged foods, then you have to read the labels because you're right, everything does have sugar in it. Too much sugar or too much salt. But if you're not eating packaged foods, or a large percentage of your foods are not packaged, so you're eating vegetables and you're eating whole grains and you're eating quality proteins, then you don't ever have to worry about it.
Right. Okay. Except, of course, if you're going to the cookie jar, but then you know. Yeah, then you know, and it's like I'm doing the bad thing. It's not bad.
Yeah, and if you eat out,
like you say, everything in moderation.
Right. If you eat out a lot too, then you're not going to know what's really going into those foods either. So getting into a habit of, preparing some meals for yourself or your family, and making that like an enjoyable and fun experimental process can be really life altering.
Yeah, getting to having some fun in the kitchen, making it a creative or a social endeavor.
Yeah, and when I do that, I really like to put jazz music on and, put on my little apron, and it makes you feel like a little chef in there, and it just gets good vibes and
kind of
going.
Make a ritual out of it. Ritual out of it. That's great. One of the things that I talk about is like the forms we put around our faith. It's like, and it's like so the importance of rituals in our spirituality, which helps us kind of keep ourselves in our faith and in our spirituality. And that's something that you can take into the kitchen too, or to any part of your life that maybe you want to do some improvements around. It's like, make it a ritual, make it a pleasant little ritual, ritualize it. That's great.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Then there's intention behind what you're doing, and it becomes purposeful and meaningful and fulfilling. Right.
I love that. So anything else on the nutrition front? I mean, I know that you're a well of information, but if there's anything sort of simple and easy to follow that you can give us, anything else? You've already given so much.
I would say that's a big place to start with there. And then to listen to your body. If you are like getting that little voice in there saying like, you're not supposed to eat that, but you really, really, really want it anyway. I mean, come on, if you're your body can be subtle sometimes, or maybe you'll start thinking about something that you really want, but then your stomach will start turning, or our body gives us these really subtle cues. So,
all we need to do is quiet down enough and listen to it and trust it.
Right. And that's hard, too, if you're a stress eater or you're an emotional eater. That kind of stuff can be really challenging.
Yeah.
But
I like the tip you gave about the water. I mean, if you struggle with emotional eating or stress eating and you get stressed out, instead of grabbing something to eat or grabbing a snack, grab a glass of water, because that can do you no harm. Well, that's not true. You can't actually overdose on water, right?
You could, but it's very rare that people do that. Very rare.
They'd have to really work at it. Okay, so it's pretty safe.
And if you were wanting
grab a cup of water.
Yeah. And then, adding more vegetables in your diet, and wherever you are, don't be judgmental about it. If you eat fast food every single day and you are just super busy, you want to add more vegetables in, but you don't think you have time to prepare raw vegetables, and you have these frozen vegetables, it's super easy. Well, start there. that's a great starting place.
Right.
You know, don't be judgmental about it. Just add more vegetables, whatever form that takes.
Oh, that's great. Right.
And then if some advice for somebody that maybe is more on a really healthy eating track, does have a lot of vegetables in their diet, then and are still feeling like they have some gray areas where they're not sure what's going on. One thing that have used with many of my clients that's really has been very successful is doing an elimination diet, and it's a process that takes usually about 6 weeks, where you eliminate a whole slew of different foods that could be possible irritants. And then that's done over a 3-week period to get the body completely clear. And then you slowly reintroduce individual foods at a time and watch for any type of response that the body has with those, whether positive or negative. And then after going through that experience, then you really, really have a completely personal experience of how certain foods affect you, and if you do have any kind of sensitivities.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And that's really for someone who's very much dialed in with their body and their nutrition anyway. That I think I would just say this isn't something that, because it takes quite a lot of discipline, it's something that you would work up to if you're not already really engaged with your body and your nutrition.
Right. And it's really important to have support when you're going through something like that too. So, like one of my clients that I recently, well, not recently, but I've worked with her for 9 months, and she came to me because of irritable bowel syndrome, and I worked up a protocol for her, and one of the initial things was doing the elimination diet. And I can happily say that she has not had any flare-ups in the last 9 months that we've been working this program. So it's been really exciting.
Wow, that is so exciting. That must be amazing for her, because that's something that doesn't typically go away. That's something you just have to, they say you just have to manage, right?
It's not. There's so many things that, that people say that there's no cure for this or no cure for that, but I mean, she's heard that her whole life, right? It's like there's not much we can do, or you know, good luck, take some pills, manage the symptoms. And now you've come in and worked with her and gotten all the way down to the deep root cause of it, and for all intents and purposes, gave her a cure. That's amazing. Yes, well, it was her, it was her just learning how to tune into her own body.
Yeah, that's great.
And there was a lot of, I mean, we're not just our body, and we're not just our spirit or our mind. We're the mind, body, spirit, and they're completely interconnected. And one is going to affect the other. So stress could be a really big factor, or your diet could be a big factor, or lack of exercise. So you have to look at yourself holistically. Yeah, that's true. Well, and that's one of the great things about the integrative nutrition. I know we've had conversations about that, is your specialty does take a holistic look at an individual, whereas many nutrition experts in different fields and specialties, it's, very focused in on one particular area. Yes. So aside from diet and nutrition, and thank you so much for all of that information, I feel like you just distilled a lot of data into some very, very simple steps for people. Well, if it's not simple, I appreciate that. A lot of times people don't want to do it. And because the most important thing is consistency. That is the hardest part, is the consistency. It is. So you start with like one simple thing, and stay consistent with that. Give yourself a big period of time too. You don't have to. Yeah. You don't have to build Rome in a day. No. But we try. So we all try. Right, we do try, all of us. Wait, I can do it all right now, sure. So what about movement? I know exercise can be something that's really overwhelming for people, especially if they've gotten in the habit of living a more sedentary lifestyle. And it can be like, people, that's like New Year's resolutions. You're like, I'm going to go to the gym and get in shape. And they create this big, job for themselves, and then it doesn't happen. So
in the same vein of simple tips to improving your diet and nutrition, what can you tell us about movement and exercise? What can people do to get started with sort of minimal overwhelm?
Well, again, consistency is key. So starting with something that's really, really simple, instead of choosing your most highest goal and shooting for that. Choose something that's very, very attainable and shoot for that. And then you'll get that reward, and then that will motivate you even further to make another goal and improve yourself even further. So starting with some really small goals is really ideal to ensure that you're going to be successful in your endeavors. And I would say probably the best tip that I could give as far as exercise is make sure it's something that you love. If it's not something that you really look forward to, then you most likely will not stick with it. You know, if, I need to go and lift weights at the gym is your idea of what you need to get stronger, but you really just like it, but it's like, just, no pain, no gain, I got to get in there and do it. Well, you're going to be, it's almost like you're kind of like torturing yourself in order to get some
like get up and go torture myself. Yeah.
But if you love, just going out for a walk outside, or you love being outside, then do something that involves being outdoors. I mean, my passions are martial arts and dance. So that's not something that I'm going to have to try to keep doing for the rest of my life. I am going to keep doing that for the rest of my life because I love it. It's part of my life's breath. So it needs to be something that is really fulfilling you and that you would enjoy doing for the rest of your life, because you're going to need to move for the rest of your life. Exercise is not like, okay, I went and I did 20 jumping jacks and 100 sit-ups and 50 push-ups and woo, I did it. I'll never have to do that again.
Right.
It has to be,
done for the lifetime.
Consistent.
Yeah. So what about people, I mean, I've talked to people who have said, I just don't like to exercise. I would rather just sit and be in my mind or be in spirit or, whatever it is they would rather be doing. They don't like to get up and move. It's not pleasant. Even walking is not pleasant. What would you say, what do you say to that? How can people start to explore what is fun for them, what does give them pleasure? Kind of get out of that mindset of, I just don't like to exercise.
Okay, if they don't like walking, I'm sorry, then they are a slug. If they don't want to get up and move from one spot, then they need some serious help. But
so walking, would you say, would be probably the simplest way to for people to get moving if they're not a big fan of exercise?
Yeah, anything. I mean, what you were describing, I just saw like a blob sitting there that never wanted to move. But if they,
there are people who struggle with exercise and moving their bodies. It's not something that's fun for them.
Maybe then they do something like yoga. I mean, you would be in one place, and you would be, there's lots of different types of yoga. Some are more cardiovascular than others. Some are more focused on static stretching. But anything that gets you in your body, aware of your body, breathing in, consciously breathing life in and out of your body and putting some focused attention into it is going to make a difference. So whether that's like stretching or yoga or walking or dancing or you name it, anything.
Yeah. So one thing that I don't think I pointed out explicitly when we got on the show is the fact that you're a certified integrative health coach, but you work with people all over the world. So if somebody wants to get some help or some support, who's listening for their nutrition or their exercise, what have you, they can be anywhere in the world and they can still work with you, right? Correct. Yay! Yeah. Okay. So if they want to inquire about that, they can go to the Ryuzado.com website, RYUZADO.com, and they can contact you through there.
Yeah, we have
great.
a contact. There's a contact form. I also offer half-hour complimentary health calls where we can either over the phone or by video we can chat, and they can let me know like what some of their health concerns are, and I let them know about the different services that I offer and see if we are a good fit for each other.
Oh, great.
And if they're local, then I do that locally or offer free, a free introductory martial arts or dance class as well.
Oh, cool. So if you're in the Nevada County area, Grass Valley, Nevada City, Penn Valley, that would be really fun. Those classes are really fun. I do dance and martial arts with Shizumi at her center in Penn Valley. And it's not only is it good exercise, it's fun exercise, and it's fun community, fun camaraderie.
Absolutely.
So is there anything else I missed, anything that you would like to add for people listening in today wanting to know more about their diet and exercise? Any other little tidbits that we didn't cover?
Well, I think one of the most important things that we can do is that we're loving to ourselves. Regardless of where we're at, if we're out of shape or overweight or we have a health condition that's going on, that we first start with that self-love, because that's what we would want. That's what we would want to do for someone else, and also what we would want from someone else is to have that loving space to work in. And once you get that going, then the judgment can get removed from it, and know that whatever effort that you're putting into it is going to make progress. And
right.
to be gentle and kind to yourself, but also firm and committed. A balance.
Right. It's the universal balance ever in play. Well, Shizumi, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your knowledge and wisdom with us. I feel like, I talk to you about this stuff all the time, and I still feel like I learned a lot. I feel like I learn a lot every time we have a conversation about this subject. You are a fountain of information, and I just so appreciate you coming on and sharing with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, way cool. Thank you again and again. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap up our show here, because I think we got what we needed and got through this, and that was just great. And then there's my very smooth exit from the interview. Sorry about that. But Shizumi, thank you again, and you have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you again very soon.
Thank you, Ingrid.
All right. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Why does getting to the airport have to be such a dilemma? Driving, parking, finagling a ride. Well, if you take Uber, it doesn't. It's easy. Just install the Uber app. Enter your destination, confirm your location, and within minutes, a car will pick you up. Whether you're catching the red eye or taking off at the crack of dawn, you can request a ride 24/7. So avoid the hassle. Install the Uber app now and take your first ride today. Uber, the better way to get there.